Grade. This is 4.1 video number 3. We'll talk about multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. Now, unlike adding and subtracting fractions where the denominators must be the same, whenever you multiply or divide fractions, the denominators do not need to be the same. Keep that in mind. Now, there are two main ways to multiply fractions. Here's the first way. You can multiply the numerators, which are the numbers on top, multiply the denominators, which are the numbers on bottom, and then simplify. Or way number 2, and is the one that I prefer because I think it's quicker, you can, number 1, cross simplify first. Now, cross simplify is different from cross multiply. That's very, very important. So cross simplify, then multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. Okay, so here's example number 1, which I'll do. We have 3/4 times 2/5. Remember that dot means multiplication. So here's way number 1. Let's multiply the numerators, so the numbers on top. 3 times 2 is 6, and on the bottom, 4 times 5 is 20. So 6/20. But now, step 3, I must simplify. 6 and 20 are both even, so let's divide by 2/2. And I get 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. So 3/10 would be my answer. Now let's do that same problem using way number 2. So 3/4 times 2/5. Now I'm going to cross simplify first. So what I'm looking for is a number on top and a number on bottom that are divisible by the same number. Okay, so I got to look crossways. So if I start here, I'm looking here. Can 3 and 5 be simplified by the same number? No, they can't. They're both prime. What about 2 and 4? Well, 2 and 4 are both even, so I can divide them by 2. If I divide 2 by 2, I get 1, and 4 by 2, I get 2. So basically what we're saying there is that 2/4, or 2/4, is the exact same thing as 1/2, or 1/2. They are, in fact, equivalent fractions. So I have cross simplify. Notice I did not cross multiply. I did not multiply 2 times 4. That's not what we're doing here. You only cross multiply when there is an equal sign. There is no equal sign there where we are only multiplying. So it's very, very important that you understand we are simplifying 2/4, or 2/4. We're simplifying that to 1/2. Now that I've cross simplified, now number 2, multiply the numerators, the numbers on top. 3 times 1 is 3, and on the bottom, 2 times 5 is 10, so 3/10. We get the same answer no matter what method you do. I think this one is quicker once you get the hang of it. Example number 2, here we're multiplying mixed numbers. 1 and 2/3 times 1 and 1/4. Now when you multiply mixed numbers, you first have to change the mixed number to an improper fraction, which means the top number must be bigger than the bottom number. Now to do this, we're going to use what we call the C method. To change a mixed number to an improper fraction, you take the bottom number, which here is, we'll start with this one, the bottom number, which is 3, you multiply it by the whole number, so you have 3, the bottom number, times the whole number, which is 1, plus the numerator, the number on top, 2. So we sort of create a C. The bottom number times the whole number plus the top number. So 3 times 1 plus 2, right? We sort of made a C with the way that we approach this. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 would be 5. That's going to be the numerator in my improper fraction. My denominator of the improper fraction stays the same as the mixed number, so it stays 3, okay? So 1 and 2/3 is the same thing as 5/3. So we have changed the first fraction, or the first mixed number, to an improper fraction. Now let's do the same thing to the second one. So 4 times 1, 4 times 1, 4 times the whole number plus the top number, 4 times 1 plus 1. That's going to give me 5. And again, my denominator stays the same as the mixed number, so 4ths. Okay, so here I have 5/3, that's the same as 1 and 2/3, times 5/4, that's the same as 1 and 1/4. Now I can multiply as normal. All right, now I have nothing I can cross simplify. I cannot cross simplify 5 and 4. I can't cross simplify 5 and 3. So I'm just going to multiply across. 5 times 5 is 25, and 3 times 4 is 12. So I have 25/12 as my answer. Now, I don't normally want to leave an improper fraction as my answer, and so I need to break this apart into a mixed number. There are a couple ways you could do that. The first way is simply to divide, right? Because that's what this fraction bar means. It means divided by. So if I do that, the top number goes inside, the bottom number goes outside. 25 divided by 12. 12 goes into 25 2 times. 2 times 12 is 24. And you get a remainder of 1. Your remainder will become the numerator in the mixed number, the fractional part of the mixed number, and the divisor 12 will become your denominator. Okay, so your answer is going to be 2 and 1/12. 25/12 is improper. 2 and 1/12 is a mixed number. So one way is to divide the top by the bottom. The second way is simply to split it apart. Right, 25 over 12. I know if I take 24 over 12, that's the same as 24 divided by 12, which is going to give me 2. But to get to 25 over 12, I've got to have 1/12 more, right? So essentially, I'm just breaking it apart into two different fractions that I can add together to get 25 over 12. If I add these two fractions together, 24 over 12 plus 1 over 12, I'll get 25/12. But the whole reason I'm breaking this apart is so that one of these fractions that I break apart will give me a whole number. And in fact, this one will. 24 divided by 12 is 2, and 2 plus 1/12 is 2 and 1/12. All right, so both of these ways will give me the same answer. They're both strategies that you can use to take an improper fraction to a mixed number.